Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. And Mafia, Bitcoin, getting a little bit of a move down here. We have finally seen price come down and break those range lows. What does this mean for the future price of Bitcoin? Are we going to see those lower levels creeping towards that potentially $34,000 level, or are we going to see a bounce from where we're at right now? It may not be as clear as you think. So we're going to be taking a look at all that on today's live stream, guys. We're taking a look at the key levels of support and resistance to better prepare you guys in either case. If we get a move to the upside, you got to have a plan. If we come back deeper to lower prices, you also have to have a plan. So we're going to cover all that. And shout out to Chemistry, bro. What is going on, bro? We're going to shout out to Mafia in just a second, guys. But we're going to take a look at all these key levels, as well as some of the bearish signs that have popped up on price, guys, because in the premium live stream earlier today, we were looking at this price come down, hit those key levels, which are the range lows, but we weren't seeing all the confirmations we were looking for to get into a long position, which could be signaling to some more downside. So I want to talk about the local price action as well as the longer term time frames, taking a look at some of those more macro key levels of support. If we wind up seeing this rejection from that macro golden pocket, if we wind up seeing that be a more significant top than we originally thought. Shout out to Joseph Gilbert, said best channel out there. I appreciate you so much for saying that, bro. And shout out to Retro Mike for that super chat. Whoop, hang on, got the wrong buttons up here. Shout out to Retro Mike. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He said Dave Digital told me to be here, or he would come to Tennessee and roundhouse kick me in the face. I haven't seen his workout videos, but I'm kind of scared. Shout out to Dave Digital. I heard he's got a mean roundhouse kick. So shout out to Retro Mike and shout out to Dave Digital. And while we're at it, guys, shout out to AZTV. Shout out to, we got Maka in the chat. We got Crimson Caravan Company, Dave Digital himself dropping a JG in the chat with the candle emojis. Shout out to Dave Digital. And shout out to Joseph Gilbert for gifting those 5 Frankie Candles memberships. I do appreciate you so much, bro. And shout out to everybody who just got a membership. Guys, shout out to our amazing mods. You know who they are. We got Chemistry Bro, Tyler Durden. I think that's actually all I saw in the chat today. So shout them out in the chat, guys. They help me out forever, or endlessly, I should say, with this YouTube channel. If you guys love them as much as I do, smash that like button and show them some love in the chat. And with all that being said, guys, we actually got a decent bit to cover here. So let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys, on the Bitcoin chart. And obviously, it's all over, and we're going to zero. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just joking. Calm down. It's okay. But we do have some interesting stuff happening here, guys. Now, as you know, as we've been looking at Bitcoin, I've actually been waiting for something very specific to kind of wait to make a move on Bitcoin, right? Because we were kind of stuck in no man's land up here, ranging around towards the bottom of our volume profile. But we really were concerned because we understood that we had a lot of liquidity sitting below these lows, which could potentially give us a red candle that would push us to the downside to liquidate and stop out all the longs who have been entering from the bottom of this more local range. So again, like I said, in today's live stream, I want to cover the local price action as well as those longer term time frames, looking at those macro key levels of support if we keep on coming down here. Now, number one, guys, why, at this point, I am starting to, well, not really shift, because we have been talking about this for quite some time. And, if you guys watch the live streams, you'll know that one thing we've been keeping a close eye on is the higher time frame money flow. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with the money flow, it is simply these blue and purple waves down here on Market Cypher B. I mean, come on. Everybody knows what the money flow is. At least if you're watching this channel, you should have a pretty good idea. But for anybody who might be new, the money flow typically indicates the longer term trend, right? And I'm going to cover this super quick because we cover it all the time. But typically, when you see these money flow waves come on down and cross over the zero line, and cross over into the red, this indicates a longer-term trend, right? Now, depending on what time frame you're looking at, that long-term trend might be like a week, a day, a minute, right? Like, depending on what time frame you're looking at. But when we're looking at something like the daily and having our money flow consistently cruising to the downside like we see happening right here, this could indicate a potential incoming macro downtrend, right? Now, obviously, if you're looking at it on the 1 hour, you want to be looking at this in the context of the time frame, right? So when you get a crossover on the 1 hour, you're not necessarily expecting a macro downtrend, for weeks, but you may just be expecting that in the context of the time frame, if that makes sense, right? Now, obviously, Market Cypher is a significant part of my analysis, and the reason I bring up the money flow is because we need to, people need to understand how to separate the dots, right? The red and green dots, these are kind of the most kind of iconic parts of Market Cypher, are the red and green dots and the money flow, right? And these red and green dots oftentimes indicate the ebbs and flows in the market, right? I always compare these to just the ups and the downs, right? You get a green dot, a red dot, a green dot, a red dot, a green dot, or maybe another green dot. Then you get a red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, right? But this trend is identified by the money flow crossing over into the green, right? So the reason I bring this up is because this has a lot to do with why we were potentially expecting some more downside here to come in on Bitcoin, right? Not only did we come up and tap this very key level of resistance with super bullish news, kind of like the perfect storm for a sell the news event, or just a big dump on a bullish event. And again, we went back on I think it was last week's live streams. We went back in time and looked at other significant tops in the markets and compared them, kind of looking at what the narratives at these tops were. And, if you guys remember, I think I might still have them marked out here on the chart. Let me see here. I'm not going to try that hard. Oh, yeah, here we go, right? So, over here on our almost right before the top of the actual bull market, you had your Pro Shares Beto Futures ETF released. Back here, you had another earn and spend product released. We won't go into the whole thing, right? We already covered this, but I'm just kind of wanted to bring this up because there's, this has to do with our macro sentiment, right? We've come up and touched a major, major level. And the reason I bring up those previous tops is every single one of these tops, even the 2019 fake out bear market rally, which is very similar to what we were seeing happen right here, this had bullish news behind it as well, right? This was, I think, Visa and MasterCard incorporating crypto payments, right? And everyone was like, oh my God, this is mass adoption. We're going to 100K, right? And this basically wound up just being a top, right, before we wound up getting a big cool-off. So this is kind of why we were looking for some potential more downside as we reject that macro golden pocket, on top of the fact that we have our money flow coming out, and if that crosses over into the red, the downtrend is likely to continue. And with something like the daily time frame, we could potentially expect that downtrend to be somewhat severe, right? At least, you know, not as severe as on the weekly. Obviously, you have to separate your time frames. But within the context of the daily, that could potentially give us a bigger move to the downside, and eventually maybe even targeting some of these lower levels, getting closer to $34,000. Now, I want to dive into the local really quickly here before we talk about kind of how I'm viewing the market right now. So let's go ahead and pull up our local volume profile, which this is basically the profile that we've been looking at, with our value area low sitting right here at about 41,257, and our value area high sitting up here closer to 44K. Now, we also do have our actual range low here. Well, that is not what I wanted. Let me grab my horizontal ray tool. I just got scanned by TradingView. So there you go, right? We have these actual range lows. We have the value area low, but then we have the actual wick low of the range here, sitting at about 40,181. And oh my God, Bitcoin just cracked 40K. Are we going to zero, right? This is basically what this live stream is going to be about. But you can see here, you know, not only did we have the range lows here, but if we go ahead and pull up, let me just go ahead and pull up the liquidation maps. Yeah, let's pull up the liquidation heat map. You guys will obviously know that we've been looking at this, understanding that just below those wick lows, right, sitting right here, just below those lows, not only are we thinking, hey, there's likely people long from this range, right, whether they're low from the wick low or if they're long from the bottom or this wick or down here or up here, likely anybody who is longing this range has their stop losses set below the last significant swing low, which would be sitting right here. So this puts a lot of liquidity or a lot of money in the market at these levels, which sometimes acts as a point of interest for price. Because if we know there's a lot of stop losses sitting here, sometimes price will go down, stop out everybody who is long before reversing back up and coming to the upside, which is an actual long setup that we had in the premium Discord. But as we were live earlier today and we started cracking these levels, we didn't see all of our confirmations. And on top of that, we also saw some other bearish signs popping up on Market Cipher A, such as the 2-hour yellow X, and even on the 16-hour, we also confirmed a yellow X. Now, this is indicative of a bearish move. Now, oftentimes, these yellow X's do come in twos, right? You will get the first yellow X, it will give you a significant move down, and then oftentimes, you know, you'll get the move down, and then you'll get a little retracement, and then usually there's another yellow X that will give you an even bigger move down. So the first two yellow X's, like I said, oftentimes they do come in twos. And when they do pop up, the first two yellow X's give you the big move down. And then typically when you start seeing a third, a fourth, a fifth, and even sometimes a sixth, it could indicate seller exhaustion, right? So these are actually, you know, not only bearish signs, but can also signify a bottom if you start getting repetitive yellow X's. But on the 16-hour, typically they are very strong, right? You can see we got one right here before actually pumping, but this could have easily been foreshadowing this bigger move to the downside. And then this one was kind of just a fluke. You printed, you got a bit of a move down, and then you just instantly ripped back up. And typically you'll see the two yellow X's play out on lower time frames. I'm not really going to go back and like back test all this, but oftentimes you will see something like this, right? You'll see the first one gives you a significant move. That second one will give you a big move. And then anything after that oftentimes will indicate seller exhaustion. And we are starting to see these yellow X's pop up on price. Now, this was one of the things that were actually keeping us out of entering into a trade down here. Other than a couple other things, we didn't get all our confirmations as we were looking for. And again, guys, we are level 2 level traders. So simply put, we find these key levels of support and resistance, and, you know, we try to front run the confirmations, you know, like talking about, hey, this is the key level we're looking at. If we see these specific confirmations, that's where we're looking for a trade. However, as we get to the level, we have to analyze price, right? We can't just get to the level and blindly long or blindly short. We have to have some kind of either trigger or confirmation that lets us know that it is a high probability trade. And, you know, we didn't really get any of that on this move down, right? And we got some of it. It's actually a really, really tricky situation, right? Because we actually got a lot of the order flow confirmations, which let me just run exo charts really quickly here. I restarted my computer right before the live stream. But come on, get out of my face, exo charts. We don't want you right now. It's not your turn yet. But, there actually was a lot of order flow confirmations that we saw, but we simply were not seeing the agreeing confirmations on TradingView. And, one of the things we were looking down here or looking for down here was a swing failure pattern. And we did technically swing fail the levels on the 1 hour time frame. We're on the Bitstamp chart, so the wicks are a little bit different. But we simply did not, we got it confirmed, but it simply got invalidated very, very quickly. And we were easily able to stay out of this trade, guys, because of the warning signs of the yellow X's, as well as some other things that we were looking at. Now, again, let me see if those heat maps, hopefully those heat maps loaded up. But obviously, guys, let's come on over to, let me check the set. Is it the 7 day? Or maybe we'll come over to the 3 month. Yeah, let's come up to the 3 month. And I just want to show you guys, right? The thought process here, again, was the fact that there were people long from this range low with their stop losses below this wick. Understanding that oftentimes when we see that in the market, these areas will act as a magnet for price. This is one of the reasons we were expecting this move down. And oftentimes what you will see when you get that to happen, and you have all that liquidity sitting down here, it makes it a high likelihood place to get a swing failure pattern. And again, we actually did see it play out today, but it was very quickly invalidated with the warning signs of those yellow X's, as well as a few other things. We actually have some single prints just underneath here, which was making me a little bit suspicious as well. But all in all, we did actually come down. Let me pull up exo charts real quick. And we actually did wind up coming down and getting a bit of liquidations, right? So if we pull up our open interest and our net longs, you can see open interest was coming down as our net longs were closing, letting us know that likely this move to the downside was mostly due to longs getting wrecked. Now, again, this is kind of a perfect storm for a swing failure pattern. But again, we didn't really see that happen. It got very quickly invalidated. But I just kind of want to show you guys, this is one of the reasons we were expecting this move down, right? And, time and time again, we look at these heat maps saying, hey, this is going to likely act as a magnet for price. Are we going to come down, scoop that liquidity before reversing back to the upside? And then oftentimes we say, probably going to be very likely. And here we are coming down, grabbing that liquidity, but we are not seeing that quick, hard recovery / retracement that we like to see off these liquidation levels, which does have me a little bit concerned for some more downside. So I don't know what is going on with this volume profile. I don't know why it won't just go print. Go ahead. You got it. You can do it. I know you can. There you go. But there you go, right? So again, now we are below our value area, and this kind of gives us two scenarios, right? Because typically, as you guys know, when we trade these volume profiles, we wait for a deviation below the range, and then we look for our bullish confirmations before hopping back on top of that value area low and looking to trade this back up to the value area high. And this is kind of the, theory behind these trades. However, again, our SFP got invalidated here, and we were starting to see some kind of confirmations. We are starting to get a little bit of a bullish divergence here on the 1 hour. Now, I will caution you, this is not the strongest bull div I've ever seen. You can see the angle is not that strong, but and the money flow is also not in the best situation to call for a move to the upside. Like you can see right here, much clearer bullish divergence with your lower lows on price action, higher lows on your momentum waves, and your money flow coming up, and then boom, you get that big move to the upside before eventually just rolling back down. And another thing I want to kind of talk about today, guys, is the idea, right, that as we got this move up, we talked about how, hey, we front ran our level by just a tiny bit, right? You guys will remember us talking about this, hey, this is the level we want to come down, come liquidate all those longs before looking for a long position back to the upside, wait for the longs to get wrecked. We get in where everyone else gets stopped out, and then we get that nice low entry for a move back to the upside. Now, this was a little suspicious in my opinion, right? That this was going to continue all the way back up to that macro local golden pocket that we've been looking at, which I will just pull onto the chart right now, which is simply now moved a little bit, but pulled from the high to the low. We have this golden pocket up here, which may be the not macro, but the full retracement if we're going to go for it. This would be a very key level to look at for a rejection. And we've been looking at this for a while. It just moved down slightly because our price action moved down. So our fib pull goes a little lower. But we were talking about how I was a little suspicious about, just coming up from here because we had all this liquidity sitting down here. And oftentimes when you see that liquidity, remember, it acts as a magnet. And oftentimes price likes to go sweep that liquidity before reversing back to the upside. And here we are, right? down at these levels with the liquidity now swept, because this liquidity, let's come up to the buy bit chart and see where this wick low came down to, right? So about 39.3. Now, let's go ahead and see if there's any significance with the number 39.3, right? And if we zoom in here just a little bit, you can see the hottest block of liquidity was here at 39.6, and then it simply ends right here at about 39.2, 39.3. And that is simply where we wicked down to. And, so we basically scooped all the significant liquidity from this area, which makes it not impossible to get a bounce here. Now, again, we're getting the 1 hour bull div, but I want to be very clear. This is not the most clear. This isn't like, oh my God, guys, we're seeing a deviation from the volume profile. We're getting the bullish divergences. Money flow is coming up. It looks like we can get a strong bounce here. It is not necessarily. It is not necessarily the super clear, high confluence trade setup that we would always hope for. So I will be very, very frank with you guys here. No pun intended. Could bounce from here, right? But again, we took the liquidity. The reasons I do think we could bounce from here, we took the liquidity, as we just showed on the heat map, and we've been looking at all week. We are starting to put this kind of wonked out 1 hour bullish divergence with 4 double green dots in on market cipher B. Money flow is kind of coming up on the lower time frames. Again, not the most confluent trade, right? Like typically, we like to see this money flow flowing nicely to the upside with that 4 hour green dot about to print. And we're just simply not seeing it, as solid of a confirmation as we would like to see. But with that being said, this 1 hour bull div, if we are going to get a bounce, this is probably going to be the thing that does it. If we don't get a very big move up off of this, and if we get a move off this 1 hour bull div and we're pushing up, and that green dot on the 4 hour starts to print, that is I think our best shot locally or in the short term to get a significant move to the upside, which we honestly have a lot of resistance above us, right? Because now we have the value area low right here at 41,250. That's going to act as resistance. We have the POC. We also have these local volume profiles within here, right? So we have this value area low, which I believe is confluent with a golden pocket of this pull from this high all the way to the low. And yeah, you can see the confluence here on this golden pocket is going to be a significant level to watch, right? Because if we continue up, and we are going to get a bigger move to the downside, this could be a potential area that we retest. So we have to be very, very careful here with the moves to the upside. I'm being very cautious, and especially with the fact that we are continuing to see that money flow cross over into the red on a lot of different time frames, right? 12 hour starting to cross over into the red, potentially indicative of a bigger move down. 16 hour money flow finally crossed over into the red, and again, that daily is continuing down here. So kind of a risky situation here, right? So if you are looking for longs down here, I'm going to say this. I would be very careful. It's not impossible to bounce, but I would be very, very careful because, again, there's many things on top of the yellow X's that we're seeing print. There's a lot of things that could be potentially pointing to some more downside. Now, on top of that, I want to talk about exactly how I'm viewing this market, right? Because this is the local TA. This is the local levels. And again, if we are able to reclaim, really the bullish sign here would be a reclaim of the value area low. Because although we didn't see a swing failure pattern here, guys, well, we could still see a typical value area trade play out, which honestly is bullish divergences. Or one of the confirmations would be a bullish divergence on significant time frames, such as the 1, 2, 3, 4 hour, with the money flow on the lower time frames coming up. But again, even if we reclaim that value area low, we still have all of these levels above us. So being very, very cautious right now with the longs. Kind of shifting my sentiment from on our way up here, right? On this big trend to the upside. We were very greedy with the longs, very conservative with the shorts. And now that we're seeing money flow crossing over into the red on the daily, or looking to cross over into the red very soon, on the 16 and 12 hour have money flow crossing over into the red, because of these macro signs that could be indicating a continued downtrend, I would be starting to see this as favoring shorts and being conservative with the longs. Right? And then again, there's more on top of that. The fact that we hit the macro golden pocket, the macro value area high, many things to be calling for some more downside here. Now, and this is stuff we've been talking about for a while, but that's the local TA. And again, the next significant level of resistance, in my opinion, would be that value area low, golden pocket confluence at around 42.1. Now, with that being said, I want to hide some of this stuff And I want to talk about just how I'm viewing this market, because as you guys know, I like to look at the markets in terms of volume profiles. This is how we were able to predict the move up from 28.8 all the way to 48 to 50K, as well as many other altcoins using the same exact strategy, as well as many other Bitcoin moves within local volume profiles within this price action, right? So we were able to look for the move up to 48 to 50K once we flipped this level to support down here, the value area low, which was the doorway to higher prices. But as you guys know, there's more than one value area. And right now, one of them is honestly a little bit more important than another, right? And really what I'm looking at here, guys, is the May 2022 volume profile. Now, this is a range that we've been looking at like forever, right? We've been waiting for price all the way since before we came into these prices. We were waiting for price to approach this local value area low. This was another Bitcoin call that we were able to make just based off the volume profiles, hitting our head on that value area low, looking to flip it to support, and then it was off to the races to come up to the value area high. This is how the volume profile works, guys. You look for the move above the value area low, hold it as support. Obviously, if you could find bullish confirmations or an entry just before the value area low, this is an even better situation because you can get a lower entry point. And then once you reclaim value area low, this is letting you know, like, hey, you're probably good to hold this trade, hold on for the next TP, which is typically the point of control, right? And then eventually you're holding for the value area high. Once you deviate from the value area high, this is typically where you want to look for shorts, which is exactly what we wound up seeing, a deviation, bearish confirmations, and then you get back into the range. And this is basically where we're sitting at right now. So when in doubt, when you're looking at all the liquidity and all the swing failures and all the little levels, all the local Fibonacci pulls, when you're getting all confused and flustered with all these, intermediary levels, just zoom out, right? Simply put, what happened here? We came up to the value area high, got rejected, tried to break out, finally got out. It was basically like a failed auction here. We tried to trade at higher prices. We weren't accepted, came right back into the range. And now that we're back below this value area high, guys, where is the next likely place for price to go? Creighton C, if you're in the chat, let them know where price is likely to go next once we break that, once we get below this value area low. Shout out to Creighton C. I'm going to take a sip of the Aztecian Cactus. There we go. Eric Bonici, Red Elephant, Dave Digital, Anna Maria, B-Rad Crypto, Low Key Feta. Let's go. Everybody. Yo, Moon Boot Boy says XRP. No, POC Moon Boot Boy. Yeah, unbelievable. But that is... the next likely place for price to go is going to be that point of control. So with that being said, guys, simply put, if we do not get a bounce from those local levels that we were just talking about with the 1 hour bullish divergence, which again does look somewhat sketchy in my opinion. So if we don't see that bull div start to play out, simply put, this is kind of the situation that I'm looking at. I'm going to break it down A and B. A, if we get that 1 hour bull div to play out, we are simply going to be looking, if this is going to play out, simply looking to flip the value area low, get a move to the POC, potentially the high. Understanding that we have the local resistance that we just talked about in the beginning of the stream, I'm not going to go back and redraw it and everything because I think it's just repetitive. But you just pull your volume profile here and you'll get those local levels as well as your local Fibonacci pull, which I would be pulling from this local swing high all the way to the low. Right now, you could also pull more local fibs. Right, you also have confluence here with your golden pocket 786. Macro value area low. So you can find these levels all over the place. But just simply put, you're going to hit your head on the value area low on your way back up if we do get the pump. But if you're able to flip it to support, next level would be the golden pocket 786 POC value area high. Golden pocket coming in at 42K. 786 coming in at 42.6, 88, 42.7-ish. POC coming in at 43.690. Value area high at 44.3. Now, if we get back up to the value area high, this is probably where I am going to be if we do get the move up and I were in a long. This is kind of where, let's say we're in a long from here. And again, being very cautious with the longs right now, guys, because of everything we talked about earlier. But, just looking at probably lock in some profit here, right? You got a 3.5% move if we get it. Plenty if you're trading with leverage or have a big enough bag, plenty to make some profit on a nice little scalp. And then after that, depending on your risk tolerance, the next TPs, in my opinion, would be golden pocket, 786, POC, value area high. Bonus tip, if that was too fast, you could scrub back and just pause as I stop on the thing, right? That's what I would do at least. Like here, pause. What's that price? Bada boom. Okay. Right here, pause. What's that price? Bada boom. Right? Boom, boom, and last but not least, value area high. Now, the highest I'd be willing to look, at least as of right now, would be the golden pocket when pulled from the all-time, not the all-time high, but the all-time bear market high right here all the way to the low, right? Which is confluent. We do have a naked daily point of control up here, kind of giving you a little bit of confluence on that level. So maybe if we get the move up, right, a little bing bong, right, if we do somehow get back up to the value area high, this would be kind of the first major area of resistance, but nothing really new here, right? Like we've been looking at this as a major level of resistance for quite a while, right? Because Bitcoin has been pretty boring up here. But that's kind of how I expect it if we wound up getting that move to the upside. And then if we get the move to the downside, simply put, guys, turning off everything else, getting rid of the noise, bada boom, hide the profile, and pull up the May 2022 value area. Simply put, we continue down. Next key level, in my opinion, is going to be the previous point of control at about 38,998. And below that, your next key level of support is going to be your previous value area low at $37,636, which also, I'm not going to go over it right now, this also has a lot of significant confluence down at these levels, right? And even if we just pull up the heat map, let's pull up the heat map. Again, that price is $37,636. And you can see down here, you have a little bit of liquidity here at 38.6. But then, you know, let's zoom out just a little bit, or let's go to the, actually, can we go to the 6 month? Just trying to see if we have a significant, chunk of liquidity down there at 37, which we don't. But what we do have there, guys, although we do not have the liquidity sitting there, I mean, if we zoomed in a little bit, actually, we could probably find it. But even though there's not a significant hotspot of liquidity sitting there, actually, we don't really. But what we do have down there, guys, I will say, is confluence, right? At about 37.7-ish, we do have naked points of control. We do have confluence in these areas, right? I'm going to have to wait for this to load. I'll just might as well get that one started as well. That's not what we want. We need these. These are daily naked points of control. So while this loads, we do have confluence down here, right? There are some very, very key levels in confluence with that 38.9, not only the $39,000 level, which, guys, remember, we look at these levels every single day on the live stream. If we pull up our local right here, where are we sitting right now? You guys will know that our next key levels of support were these two naked daily points of control, right? And now we're sitting on top of the number one, and if we break down below here, not only do you have the naked point of control right here, but you also have the previous point of control just above, right? So simply looking at this as in terms of volume profiles, you get below the value area high, suck down towards your POC. We just hit this NPOC, but really we could wind up sitting around this, $39,000 level, right? And that naked point of control is at, first one is at 39.6, second one is at 38,775. So maybe we get a little reaction off of this. But again, with the way money flow looks and the way that we're not really seeing any of these bull divs give us a strong reaction to the upside, we may be on our way to lower prices. Now, for me, if we don't get a strong reaction here, which again, the real setup that I was looking for, guys, kind of got invalidated, right? Like the real setup that I was waiting for, I just didn't see the confirmations that I would have liked to see. So with that being said, if we continue down, not only is this the next level, but if we lose this level, simply put, value area low at 37.7, I'll call it, is going to be your next kind of major area to be looking. And to be honest with you, just in terms of volume profiles, I am much more comfortable taking a long at a value area low, meaning from down here, to get back above that POC and back to the high, rather than just taking a trade off the middle of a range. And at this point, we are kind of in the middle of the range. Problem is, you have to separate your scalp trades from your swing trades, your day trades from your scalp trades, right? Because this is technically, this is only the middle of the bigger range, right? Because if we take this range off and you just take a look at the local levels, this actually isn't a hard, and this is why I was willing to look for a long position that got invalidated earlier today. This is why I was looking for a long down there, was because at this point, we are deviating below this local range, which could be potentially bullish. But it's all about understanding how to separate your time frames and how to separate your your trading plan, right? Are you a scalper? Are you a day trader? Are you looking to pick up more cheap spot Bitcoin before our next big move to the upside? This all is very important when you're looking at how to handle your money and you know, if you should be day trading, if you should be scalping, if you should be swing trading, right? Most people who have a job should not be trying to scalp trade the 5 minute, right? It's going to be very, very difficult. You're likely going to get wrecked. Scalping on the low time frames is very difficult, even for experienced traders. And if you're just starting, most people, I feel like the most exciting thing for them is to jump right in to scalping. And new traders and micro scalping don't typically go well together, even if you have like a natural knack for it, right? And that's not even taking into consideration that you might have a job. You're not able to sit down at the desk and watch the charts all the time. So you really have to understand what kind of trader you are. What are your goals? What are you looking to get out of this before actually taking your trades? Because otherwise, you're going to be very lost, right? You're going to be like, well, why is he saying he wouldn't want to take a trade in the middle of a range, but then it's not, it's the bottom of a range. And the truth is, the trade that I would be interested in at the value area low right here, let me pull it back up, right? The trade that I would be interested in right here is very different than the trade I would be interested in if we came down to the value area low, right? I'm interested in a small scalp here. And then you also have to take into consideration, what's the higher time frame money flow doing? Do we have a bigger downtrend incoming, right? This is all very important stuff you need to keep in your head, right? It's not as easy as coming down to a level, seeing a buy signal and buying, right? It's just simply not that easy. I wish it was, to be honest with you. But you guys know that. The Mafia, the Mafia knows that. Let me take a sip of the Aztec and Cactus Mall Spotter here. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Let's see. Dump. Shout out to Crypto Moonster. Isn't that against your name? I don't know if you could say dump. But let's go. Dump it, baby. Send it to 0. But yeah, before we get into the altcoins, guys, I do want to just talk really quickly about the macro levels of support in case you are looking to pick up that cheap spot Bitcoin, right? Some people might be watching this live stream. They're like, dude, I don't care about the scalps. I don't care about the day trades, dude. I just want cheap Bitcoin. I'm trying to stack my long-term bags. I want that crypto 401k to bang in 2025. So let's talk about it, right? So locally, guys, this is kind of the range that I'm looking at. It's very hard. This is the hardest part of my job, guys. So locally, this is the local range I'm looking at. And then if we do not reclaim this value area low, I am simply looking in terms of this volume profile. And what happens if we lose this volume profile? Well, simple, right? We just simply come back up to the bigger profile, which is sitting right here, where we have our macro point of control of this profile sitting at 34.4, which coincidentally, as you guys know, if you watch the show, this won't be a shocker, but if you pull up the heat map and you take a look at that, take a look at that 34.4 level, we do have an interesting thing popping up here on the heat map, and that is a hotspot of liquidity sitting at 34.4. Price may eventually want to go down and take that level out. So keeping an eye on the heat maps is important in my opinion, right? It's one of the big reasons we were expecting to be at these prices soon, right? Because those liquidation levels and stop losses, liquidity in the market, right, which is simply just money, right? What do I mean by that? I just simply mean that when you have money, when you have stop losses, right? So in this case, you have long stop losses. And, oh, God, man, I wish I could pull up the premium chart. It would not be fair to the people who pay. But basically, guys, we mark out the exact liquidation levels on the chart, and we expect, once price comes into those liquidation levels, we expect a quick move down. And it literally exactly brought that quick move down right almost to the dollar, right? Like we basically set it, I set it up where, we grab a box and we say, okay, liquidations are sitting between 39.8 and, in this case, it was 39.3, right? And this isn't the, I don't think this is the, yeah, this is the Bitstamp chart. So if you pull up Bybit, you could see, right? I don't remember exactly where they started. I think it was somewhere around 39.8-ish. And they went all the way down to 39.3, right? Those liquidation levels stopped at 39.3. And where did we see price wick down to? Well, we wick down to just about, well, let me actually get the candle here. 39.313 is literally where we wick down to. So again, not impossible to see a bounce here. We've liquidated a bunch of people. We're getting the bull divs. But again, they are not the strongest signals. So simply put, very, very simply put, come back to the Bitstamp chart. You now have the local range that we were looking at. You have the May 2022 range that we were looking at, which I will pull back up just so you guys can see it all together, right? So you have this big range between 48 and 50K and 28.8, which we're going to get to this level in a second. But then you have this kind of local range, right? It's all about finding those key levels of support, analyzing price as you get to the level, and only taking the trade if you get the confirmations to enter, or the triggers to enter, or the signals to enter, whatever you like to call it. But what about the spot bags, Frankie? What about the guy who just has $5,000 sitting on the side waiting for Bitcoin to dip again so we can buy in one more time before that 2025 parabolic bull run that everybody is expecting? Well, while I just let the Aztecian Cactus Moss Water drop down my chin there, let's see. But hey, shout out to Rocco. I appreciate that super chat. We will get back to the super chat in just a second, guys. But he says, hey, Frankie, Rocco here, just stopping by. Big shout out to the community. BTC, let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Rocco. And hey, Rocco, what are you doing, bro? Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate you for hanging out with us here in the Frankie Candles live stream. I knew I was walking into something. Shout out to Mystic Ruin. I knew I shouldn't have said that. Incognito said it's over. But guys, let's talk about those that next buy the dip potential buy the dip scenario, right? So again, in the grand scheme of things, if you're not someone who watches the chart all day, next significant key level if we keep dumping, mark it on your chart. 34.4. Write it down in your phone. So when Bitcoin dumps next time, you'll be like, what's that level Frankie Candle said? 34.4? Oh no, we ripped right through it. That's not good. So, or, hey, we're bouncing. Look at that. Surprise, surprise. Does that guy have a crystal ball? But anyway, if we break this level here, guys, again, next significant level, we break below this. Simply put, Creighton C, let the Mafia know where are we going if we break that POC. Simply put, that's right. Shout out to Creighton C. We will likely be going to the value area low, which I will be honest, guys, there are a lot of levels here. And real quick, let's just show them, right? When you pull your fib from this impulse, we'll pull it. Yeah, I'll pull it from here, right? So this impulse to the high, put your 786 sitting in a very, very interesting and confluent area, right? Because not only do you have your value area low of the macro range sitting down here at 28.8, it's going to be a macro key level of support, right? If we come down here, this is like the, oh my God, mommy, hold me level, right? If we lose this level, things could potentially get ugly. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But 786 coming in here at about 30,248. And then on top of that, we also have this previous range that we were trading in. That value area high is coming in at about 30K even. And then you also just simply have the structural highs that we made back here when we were in this range, right? These highs right here, just horizontal, run-of-the-mill, horizontal support and resistance. So this whole zone here, guys, is likely, I mean, even if you include the wicks, it comes all the way up to about 32K. So if you were looking at this as a macro level, you know, between the top of these wicks and the 786 is between almost 32K and 30,300. And then if you want to extend that as a zone of support, in my opinion, you know, if things are not looking horrific on the charts as we approach this level, this might be a significant buy the dip scenario because, in my opinion, if we do come down there, not only are you getting would you have already gotten a significant golden pocket retest, but you also have the full Fibonacci 786 retracement into the value area low. And even if we deviate slightly, if you're able to get some bullish confirmations as you deviate below this range, may be the next place to be looking for a potential long position. Now, obviously, we're pretty far away from this level. I'm not calling for this level, but just looking at the volume profile, if we continue down, guys, these are simply just the next levels, right? And then I won't go over the apocalyptic situation, but as you guys know, if things got really, really crazy, 22.6 would be the full 786 retracement. But in my opinion, we would need some kind of a black swan event to get down there. And then you could see even your full macro golden pocket retracement from the bottom of the bear market to the bear market rally high gives you that golden pocket confluence again just underneath that value area low, further solidifying this area of support, right? And again, that deviation below the range, because typically you get a deviation above, suck back into the range, bounce off the POC, back to the value area low, deviation, and then a bounce, right? So the idea that you have that golden pocket backing you up here is kind of a big deal. And then again, you lose this, probably going down to that 786. But again, 22.6 is probably going to need a black swan to back up that move. But this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking at, guys. And again, locally, are we going to get a move up? Again, like, 1 hour bull div is just been flashing on and off for I can't tell you how long. All day this has been flashing. It just will not confirm. Very shady. So for the most part, guys, I don't think it's impossible because of the way the money flow looks on the daily, because of the way the money flow looks on the 16-hour, right? This is indicating what just happened to Market Cipher. This is indicating, I just got robbed. I just got rugged on Market Cipher. This is indicating a potential macro downtrend incoming, right? So because of that, we are being very careful. Now, again, resistance to the upside, major level, this will be the last level I give you, going to be right here, golden pocket retracement. So let's say we do get some kind of a strong bounce up, especially now that we have swept the liquidity here. Not impossible, you know, and maybe we dip down a little bit more, but if we did get a move up, first major level of resistance is going to be 45,375, where you have your golden pocket all the way up to the 786, getting closer to about 46, 47K. So major level of resistance up there for sure. But other than that, guys, these are the key levels that I'm looking at, and not only the key levels, but the confluence that we need to see these be strong levels to bounce off of, right? And not only that, but also the sentiment, right? Being very, very careful in the long term here. So there you go. Now, the question is, but Frankie, is Bitcoin going to dump and the alts go crazy? Well, let's take a look at Ethereum. Well, here we are, right? And as you guys know, we have been looking at Ethereum here for quite some time as we approach this previous value area low. Yeah, so once we approach this value area low, you have to expect these to be resistance, right? Although they are the doorway to higher prices, at first, especially if you put in bearish confirmations as you approach them, as we did here, daily bearish divergence, you would expect a pullback, right? And this, I was banking on this, right? Because I was hoping for a move down to potentially find a long entry on Ethereum, which we are approaching our second level of support here, which is the 786 POC of the range. Actually, let me update this, pull this up a little bit more. Hasn't really moved the level at all, but the 786 POC confluence right here is going to be kind of that next key level of support that I'll be looking at for a potential scalp long on Ethereum. And yeah, I was hoping for this, right? Because if we just hopped up back on top of this value area low, I would not have been prepared to ride potentially the next move up on Ethereum if we get it, which could potentially be bringing us through this range up to about $3,000, or between about $3,100 and $3,200, back up to the POC or value area high of the range. And the next key levels of support are simply just looking at this previous area of consolidation, and you pull your fib, golden pocket value area high, POC 786. Again, like, this is the next level I am paying attention to. So if I'm able to get bullish confirmations here, granted, this is the middle of a range. I don't like entering trades in the middle of a range. I would actually quite prefer a bigger pullback, right? I would much prefer to see price retrace to this golden pocket POC and then dip down to the 786 value area low. Why is this? Well, simply put, the higher probability trade is at the low of the range, right? Because it's more likely, once you're below that value area high, that you are likely not only going to go to the POC, but it's also more likely to see that value area low. But again, because oftentimes when you break out of these volume profiles, you will oftentimes see price come back down and test those POCs as support before getting a big move back to the upside. I would be open to potentially taking some trades at this level, right? And this zone is sitting between $2,286 all the way down to about $22.42. And then your value area low, 786, is coming in between $21.56 and $21.43. So these are the next levels to the downside for Ethereum if the move continues. Money flow also coming out on the daily here. Now, I do want to be very, very clear, guys. Bitcoin's moving down. Ethereum's moving down. But I want to be very clear. If we wind up getting a bigger move down like we just talked about, this does not make me bearish on Bitcoin. Right? Like, I am still bullish on Bitcoin. Now, what does this mean? Well, in the long term, even if we came down to this golden pocket or these highs here, we could still potentially continue the uptrend, right? It's really not until we start really breaking below some of these levels into the 25,000s that I kind of get macro bearish, right? And I mean, honestly, even technically, right? Because if we come back to 2019, we saw, like, what do we see here, right? We simply saw price retrace to the macro golden pocket like we just saw happen on Bitcoin recently, right? Oh, come on. Come on with this thing. Boom. There we go, right? So we retrace into that macro golden pocket, retrace back down to it's just like retracement, right? We came out to the golden pocket, came back down, tested the golden pocket, tested the 786 before coming back up into the parabolic bull run of 2021. And we were able to maintain, right? We were able to maintain higher lows, right? So the bullish trend here was able to maintain itself even though we went for that 786. And if we wind up seeing the same thing happen, where we do get that full 786 golden pocket retracement, right, where we come down and test that 786 at 22.5, we could still, like, we're still not breaking the lows, right? Like, this is still not that big of a deal, in my opinion, in the long term, right? So definitely not bearish on Bitcoin. I want to be very, very clear about that. Like, we could retrace to this POC, like, bullish market structure on the higher time frame still intact, right? But we haven't seen a significant retracement come in here. We finally are seeing a bigger pullback. Like, this is what we need to see if we are going to continue up. We can't just go up in a straight line. And on top of that, this was all fueled by the Bitcoin ETF rumor, right? And then once it actually happened, like, what else? We need something to pump the price up here if you look at news, right? Now, we just know we need a retracement and we need to look for bullish signals on the chart. But if you're not paying attention to the charts, you don't do the TA, you're not a trader, you know, what is going to pump price up here? This whole big move of, over 200% was all based off the ETF rumors. Now the ETFs are approved and we're dumping, right? Which is not shocking. But what else is going to push price up here? If the ETF's being approved and not push up price, you're dealing with serious profit taking up here from people who know what they're doing, right? Not just getting FOMO-ly bullish at a golden pocket. So keep that in mind. And even if we came all the way down, still pretty bullish on Bitcoin, right? But you'd have to come down very, very aggressively for this to, like, all go to pot, right? So there you go. Crypto Anon said this is healthy. Absolutely. Let's see. Everything is cheap. Best prices now. Last time before having to get these prices, you'll regret it if you don't DCA now. Shout out to Tone Lee, not to be confused with Tony D. But yeah, again, like not super. I don't know if this is happening, but I'm sure, once we start coming down more, the bears are going to start coming back out saying, oh my God, here comes 8K, here comes 3K, here comes 2K, here comes $15, guys. I told you. Who knows? Anything could happen. But as of right now, like, definitely very healthy. Like, nothing scary is happening right now. So I want to be very clear. We just looked at some pretty low prices, but just understand, even if those levels got hit, like, all the levels we just covered, like, even this blue box down here at the value area low, like, not like a horrible situation, right? Like, this is kind of what we want. I would love for us to come down here. I don't know if we'll be lucky enough to do that, but if we do, again, like Tone Lee said, don't forget to DCA. Don't forget your long-term plans, right? So there you go. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Naughty. Says Kramer needs to say BTC is dead again. Yes, totally agree. I heard he said that recently he said that Bitcoin's not able to find its footing. So maybe we're due for a pump. But there you go, guys. That is what we're looking at on Bitcoin. Now back to Ethereum real quick. Again, like, things are not too different. Not too different here on ETH than what we've been looking at, right? It's just kind of a game of, we're playing the waiting game, right? Like, we've been looking at this stuff, waiting for a pullback. If we got the pullback, we're looking to come into some key levels of support. And simply put, we sit on our hands, we wait for the lower levels, and here we are. Simply put, in our next zone of support. And again, next key level between 2286 and 2250 for Ethereum. Other than that, I mean, you don't even have any bullish dive. I guess you have a 1 hour bull div here on ETH. But again, guys, like, these don't look like the strongest divergences in my opinion. All right, let's go ahead. Shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. What is going on, bro? Thank you for hanging out here. Good to see you. He says, Frankie, your sauce is delicious. Please don't stop, and I won't stop supporting you. Shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. Stop. Maybe I'll stop sleeping so we can stream more. Shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. Yeah, no, we ain't going nowhere. Shout out to Multi-Sig Dummy. Let's go. And then shout out to Martin. Martin Anna, I appreciate that super chat. Says, yo, Frankie, what levels could be good to get into ICP for long-term bags? Thank you. Well, there you go, guys. Shout out to Martin. We can take a look at ICP in a second. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Says, call out altcoin votes. If you guys want to see take a look at your favorite altcoins, go ahead and spam them in chat. Rob, let's just do 3 alts. Just 3. I'm going to cover I'll do ICP, and that's it. We'll just do 3 alts. We'll cover ICP. And then maybe we'll take some random requests as they come in. Shout out to Creighton C. Says, was Mrs. Candles okay? She seemed really mad in premium live stream. Was it because you were playing candles with your friends and forgot all about her? Oh, hey, Mrs. Candles, enjoy your walk. Enjoy your walk, Mrs. Candles. If you guys don't know, in the premium Discord earlier today, Mrs. Candles, her car was getting fixed. So I had to go pick her up from somewhere, and I forgot. I didn't forget, but I was just running a little bit late. And she just popped up in the premium live stream chat. I didn't know Mrs. Candles was in the kitchen. I thought she was just on the channel. I didn't think she had a... Tony D, did you give Mrs. Candles access to the premium Discord without telling me? Unbelievable. So she was spying on us, but we got her. She's safe. She's sound. She didn't have to Uber, but she's better. Shout out to Creighton C. Dude, thank you so much for that super chat, man. You do not need to do that, but I appreciate it so much. Now, let's go ahead and continue on. So there's Ethereum. Again, looking very similar to Bitcoin. Next key levels we went over. But now let's go ahead and take a quick look at ICP and see what we got, right? So very similar to Ethereum, ICP has approached a key level of resistance here, which is not only, let me actually pull up a different ICP chart real quick. ICP, not to be confused with ICUP, which is a different coin, but as we approach this value area low, doorway to higher prices if you could flip it to support. But as you approach here, guys, this is something we looked at on the live stream more than one time, right? Not only did we come up and tap this, and you have to expect it to act as resistance. However, as price comes up into the key level, daily bearish divergence had printed, right? Money flow also coming out. This was indicative of a cool-off. And then our next key levels of support, well, number one, we already came down and tapped this value area high, got a retracement, likely into a golden pocket. Let's test it. Yeah, right into that golden pocket retracement before getting a bigger move down. And now, simply put, here we are at the value area high, and this is still our next zone of support, right? So if we break below this value area high, we'll simply look for a move to the POC and eventually a move down to the value area low. And in my opinion, let me actually take a look here, right? Now, this is going to depend. And even on Bitcoin, right? Because I don't want anyone getting it twisted. Just because we talked about Bitcoin potentially getting a move down here, which is strong support. This does not mean that no matter what, as soon as we come down to this level, it's safe to buy for your long-term bags, right? Now, granted, this is going to be a very strong level to watch for sure. But if we get back down here and things are not looking good, right, you have to analyze the charts as you get to these levels. So, if for whatever reason we get down here and money flows coming out on the macro time frames or the higher time frames, we're getting bearish signals on market cipher A, etc., then it might not be the best place to buy. But this is, in my opinion, if we did come down there, it could be a good place to start looking for buys. So I don't want anyone thinking that you could just kind of set and forget these levels. It's going to have to do a lot with, what price looks like when we get there. However, if we do continue down, at least for ICP, and for the longer term spot dip buys, guys, you're going to want to probably be a little bit more, you don't want to be too conservative, right? Because I forget who said it. Whoever said it before, as we get close to the halving, usually don't get too many extra chances to get in. So you don't want to be too conservative, but you also don't want to see, we've just been going up in a straight line. And then, a lot of people probably see one big dump, and they're like, that's it. That's spot buy. That's a spot buy. Granted, you're probably going to get a bigger move down, if this continues. But what you could do is DCA. Right? So if you're worried about missing the bot, don't just wait for a key level and then just try to catch that bottom and buy a bunch on spot. What I would recommend is split your spot bag that you're looking to invest into X amount of buys, right? 5 buys, 10 buys, 50 buys, depending on how much money you have, and just buy a little bit at each key level, right? Because we don't know exactly what key level we're going to bounce off of, right? So you just buy a little bit. If you go lower, put a little more. Go lower, put a little bit more, giving you a decent average entry point. Now, if we do continue down for ICP locally, next key level that I would really be looking at, between this gold value area high 786 retracement level, 786 coming in at about $10.01. This could be an area to look at for a bounce. I'll go ahead and highlight that. Bada boom, bada bing. And then once you get below that 786, in my opinion, I would rather wait for the value area low to get visited, right? So let me actually label this. So value area low, POC, value area high. Bada boom, right? So we continue down. These are the key levels. And then once we're back below this value area high, I would simply just treat this as a volume profile range, right? Looking for longs at the lows and shorts at the highs. So there you go. But other than that, very similar to Bitcoin with the money flow coming out on the higher time frames, 16 and 12 hour also crossing into the red. So this does look like it is essentially just following Bitcoin. So hopefully that helps you out. Let's see. No problem, Martin. I got you. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. By the way, guys, show Rob the Crypto Snob some love. It is his birthday, as every day is his birthday, if you guys didn't know. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Dave Digital said, I came for the TNA and the singles group. Shout out to Dave Digital. You running like a speed dating thing in my chat, Dave? Shout out to Dave. Dave's turning our chat into a speed dating, I don't know, a speed dating event. Let's see. All right, let's continue on. Yeah, shout out to Anna Maria. XRP following Bitcoin as well. All right, let's continue on here. The altcoins for tonight. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Thank you for marking these out for us, bro. And next on the list is going to be AMP. All right, let's check out AMP. Good Lord. All right, let's see. This is probably the worst. Dave Digital, thank you for the super chat, said, Frankie, Dark Crash drinks milk. There, I said it. Dark Crash. Dude, if you have to come clean, Dark Crash is our community member who makes sure everybody drinks their water. And speaking of water, let me take a sip. Now, shout out to Dave. Dark Crash, if you're drinking milk behind the scenes, if you're closet drinking milk, dude, just let us know. We love you no matter what, bro. We don't care if you're drinking water or milk. We don't care if it's 2% or skim or whole or heavy cream for some people out there. We don't care. We love you no matter what, bro. So shout out to Dark Crash. But let's take a look at AMP here real quick, guys. Now, for AMP, I will say this. First fun fact, AMP is probably one of the coins that I did the worst with. Like, I don't even remember where I bought AMP. Ever since I bought it, I was mad at it. And probably my worst performing investment I ever had. But anywing, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I didn't do well with it, which has a lot to do with my own, where I bought in, etc. But anyway, taking a look here. Let me check a. I will take a look at the Binance chart. Okay, so money flow coming out here on the daily. Very, very similar to all this other stuff. JF Space says, people drink heavy cream? I don't know. I just figure there's stranger things out there. Am I the only one that drinks heavy cream? I'm kidding, guys. I don't drink heavy cream. Skim milk does not count as milk. I do agree with that. Half and half greater than milk. I love that. Yeah. AMP never went up after mid-2021. Bitfrog, yeah, I know. It's out of control. But anyway, money flow is coming out here on the daily, guys. VWAP kind of bouncing around here. Once we get that VWAP to roll back over, probably going to anticipate, another move down. Money flow would have to really start coming up here for me to be convinced in a significant move to the upside for AMP. But other than that, guys, coming on over to the 4-hour, money flow starting to cross over into the green. We are printing a red dot. Let's come on down to that 15-minute time frame. Yeah, money flow on the 15-minute is coming out. Yeah, so if this money flow crosses into the red in the next 13 minutes and 40 seconds, that may be the mark of the bigger move to the downside. But this money flow coming up on the 4-hour, yeah, the altcoins have been a little wonked out lately, if I'm being honest. If you guys remember on Friday, I was having a rough time with the altcoins. They just looked so wishy-washy. Like, money flow on the 8-hour doesn't look horrible. Money flow on the 4, 5, and 6-hour doesn't look horrible. But then you come up to the daily, and it just looks pretty bad, right? 3-day, green dot confirmed. 4-day, green dot confirmed. 5-day, 6-day, and weekly green dots looking to print. Now, one thing I will say in defense of the bullish case on AMP is we are now just starting to get a a money flow crossover into the green here on AMP on the weekly, right? So if we are able to get a green dot here, that may be able to give us a move to the upside, but I would really like to see how this daily pans out first. Remember, the weekly money flow crossover is a longer-term bullish signal. If we come on to any of these other altcoins, Ethereum's weekly money flow crossover ended up in massive upside. Any weekly money flow crossovers that we've gotten have ended in upside, right? This is a very, very bullish signal in the long term, right? Like back here, last time ADA crossed over, I already have it marked out here. Weekly money flow crossover on ADA. Obviously, we got move up, and then, March 2020 happened, big dump. But after that, I mean, this was basically the macro signal that, we were about to go on a big run. So, from that perspective, this money flow crossover could potentially be a bullish signal, but they don't play out immediately, right? So we could easily come down before we wind up seeing that manifest. Now, 4 hour, obviously a little bit more bearish, getting this big move down. Like I said, in the next 11 minutes, if we get that 15-minute money flow to cross over, probably going to start a bigger move to the downside. Now, this price action is kind of wonked out, right? Like if we pulled a range here, it would be very sketchy, right? Just kind of like, just hang here, back to the high, and now we could be, let's see. Next key level, if we continue down here, if that 15-minute money flow gives us a bigger dump to the downside, what I would be looking at, man, this is a difficult, let's see. Let's pull from this. I don't know if I like, kind of hard, man. I would be looking at this, right? So next key level of support, I'd be looking down towards this trifecta of confluence, right? Now, POC, value area low 786. If we lose this golden pocket, and just the fact that we're below this value area high makes it more likely that at least we see the POC, if not that value area low 786. So next key levels going to be sitting here between about 0.0034 and 0.0033 for AMP. So there you go. Other than that, little wonked out. I'm not like taking trades at these levels. I'd rather wait for this low of the range. Shout out to Thesis himself. Says Bitcoin straight to jail. Altcoins, jail. Stocks, believe it or not, jail. Shout out to Thesis himself. I love those references, bro. It's like one of my favorite clips ever. And I don't even watch the show. But yeah. Yellow X's, right to jail. Blood diamonds, jail. Believe it or not, jail. Shout out to Thesis himself, bro. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate you so much. Let's see. Shout out to Steven Sansbury. He says, great show as usual. Smash that like button now. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you for saying that. Smash that like button if you guys have not already. 550 likes will give us extra spins on the wheel. And once we wrap up here, guys, I will be making not an announcement like we're coming up with this big thing, but I do have some things I want to talk about at the end of the stream regarding some content changes in a good way. But let's continue on. Let's see. Let's see. Yo, Milk Froth. Extra spins, not on my watch. Shout out to Tyler Durden. But yeah, let's go ahead and continue on. Shout out to Crypto Billy. What is going on, bro? He says, I just love Frankie Candles. I love you back, Crypto Billy. You know that, brother. Shout out to you, man. I was looking at watches last night, Billy, and I saw your favorite watch, bro. We have the same watch. Me and Billy have the same watch that we want. Maybe we should go buy them together, bro. Shout out to Crypto Billy. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue on here and start taking a look at Matic. And let's do. Let me just do a quick little check on Bitcoin. 39.5. Oh baby, she's breaking down, baby. She's breaking down. Let's go. All right, let's see. Okay, so Matic. Let's take a little quick look at Matic. Bada boom, bada bing. Same thing. Basically, very similar to what we saw on ICP and Ethereum here, and that is bearish divergences at your key level, which was your value area low, which was also your doorway to higher prices if you were able to flip it to support. Oh, yeah, shout out to Crypto Anon. Get in there, baby. Shout out to you. Crypto Anon has some pretty fire watches himself. Shout out to Crypto Anon. Let's do it. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, should we all get matching watches? That'd be fire. Tyler said, Casio FW91, me too. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Guys, we got to go on a watch trip. Let's do it. Yeah, Frankie Candle's mod trip to the Rolex store? I don't know. Anyway, let's continue on here, right? We put in that daily bearish divergence into that key level, which is the value area low. As we did on ICP and Ethereum, what did it result in? A pull to the downside, where now we're actually sitting pretty nicely within this kind of range of value, right? This value area. So although we have a fresh daily red dot here, I wouldn't be so quick to just short support here, right? Because you want to remember your key levels here are your value area high. Boom. Got your value area high. Your POC, label it up, and you have your value area low, right? So this is going to be your key levels. Value area low, bada boom. Okay, so again, not going to be FOMO shorting here, right? Because you are hitting support, and even if we are going to continue down, likely it's not just going to just nuke straight from here, right? You're probably going to get some kind of a bounce or something, right? And there's that wonky 1 hour bull div. I want you guys to see that, right? Like what happened on Bitcoin. I obviously didn't work out good, right? Yeah. That 1 hour bull div just will not print or confirm. I mean, it prints. It's been flashing, but it will not confirm. When they look shady, they typically wind up being shady. And then I got another thing here, guys, that I would be paying attention to just on the order flow would be the fact. Shout out to Darren Does Things for pointing this out in the premium Discord. We do have these single prints, right? Like this is probably my next significant point of interest. These single prints at about 39, between about 39.1 and about $39,000 even. Going to be that next key level that I'll probably be keeping an eye on, right? Because these are untested areas on the chart. Oftentimes, when you come back down towards these, you will go back and visit them before potentially getting a reaction to the upside or a reaction to the downside. We also have a TPOC sitting at 38,800, which would be a nice little backstop of support, right? So if we come down here, fill those single prints, we could bounce off that TPOC. But again, like, there's a reason why we were sussed out with that long position in the premium Discord earlier today. And, here we are just continuing to just grind to the downside. But anyway, let's take a look at Matic. So I would be looking at this local range, guys, and treating it very similarly, like being very careful here. Again, not shorting support here, but I would be careful. If we break this range, though, if we do wind up coming down, right, because you have that daily red dot printing, fresh daily red dot printing, 4 hour potential bull div to print, right? This is why we don't FOMO short here, because even if you push down a little bit more here, right, put lower lows on your price, could be putting a 4 hour bull div in, which would likely give you some kind of a bounce, even if you are going to continue back to the downside. So you got to be careful. You don't just want to get into a short and then instantly be in drawdown and then like be biting your nails until you're finally back in profit. You would rather wait, anticipate the pump, right, and then short on the way back up so you can just be in profit sooner, right? So you don't have to go through that drawdown. But definitely going to be the local levels I'm looking at. Between 74 and 90 cents is that range. You guys can screenshot these levels if you'd like. And then coming up to a higher time frame, let's go ahead and take a look at some significant levels here, right? So let's pull our fib from, I'm going to pull it from this impulse to the high, which does give us that nice backup of support, right? So even if you put, if we continue down here, I would be very careful with the red dot on the daily, right? Like I'm not looking for a moonshot long here with that daily red dot and money flow crossing over into the red. What does this indicate, right? This is indicating the trend is likely to continue to the downside, right? So keep that in mind. So if we do get a pump, what does this mean? It means that if we get a pump, it's likely going to be a lackluster push to the upside before potentially putting in a lower high and continuing down to lower prices. So next level, I would be looking at the golden pocket as some backup support. Watch for the 4 hour bull div. Not telling you to trade it. I'm just saying it could be a potential sign to be looking for a trade or potentially look for a long position based off your own analysis if you have that 4 hour bull div. And then if we break that level, next significant level of support for me will be down here at about $6.33. And what I will do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the TA. And I'm going to go, I'm going to turn on the MPOCs, and I'm going to come up to the monthly and see if we have any significant levels underneath us. And we do have a naked monthly point of control here at 56 cents. I'm going to mark that out. Now, I don't know if we're going to come all the way back down to 56 cents, but this would be a significant level to look at, right? Because if you wind up coming down here, right? If you wind up coming down to that 786 and you just nuke down, monthly naked point of control is going to be a very big level to look at, right? These are very strong. Remember, when we rejected this golden pocket, there was a naked monthly point of control up here as well on Bitcoin, right? So these naked points of control, especially the monthlies, those higher time frame naked points of control can be very, 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 very strong. So just keep that in mind. Now, so there you go. That is what I would be looking at on Matic, and I can almost guarantee you, let's see. Let's see here. Maybe not. Maybe not. No, not really what I wanted to see. I thought there might be confluence here. Not really. But yeah, there you go. That is kind of what I would be looking at. POC. Yeah. In my opinion, if Matic were, I am not calling for a 56-cent Matic or even a 64-cent Matic, but if we did get these, this is probably where I am, probably where I'd be buying more spot bags, between about 66 and 56 cents. Again, not saying that we're going to come all the way down to 56, but kind of some key levels of support here. This is a wonked out range, but still a relevant level. All right, there we go. Let's see. ICP, AMP, Matic, I believe. Let's see. Will BTC go below ADR 12K profit? Said no. Stupid. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. I don't. Will BTC go below the ADR 12K profit? Said not. I don't know what that means. Shout out to Stupid Bitcoin. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Who said? What said no? 12K profit said no? I don't know. I'm lost. But shout out to you, bro. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I love seeing you in here, bro. Let's see. Mark Dutch said, like button still showing bearish divergence. Smash that like button if you guys are finding the content useful, valuable, or fun in any way, shape, or form. But let's see. All right, let's take a quick look at XRP. I know this is a crowd favorite. Everybody wants to know, what is XRP doing? What is XRP doing? And, well, XRP's ruining me because, as you guys know, they closed my short. I don't know why. They closed my short on Femex. I don't know what happened. Someone said they delisted XRP, but I saw that they didn't. So I don't know why my XRP short closed from all the way up here. But here we are. No, unbelievable. Still made a nice profit on this trade, but all targets wound up getting hit, and they just closed my position. I just opened up Femex, and my position was gone. I don't know why, but same thing, right? 4-hour bull divs. I mean, in my opinion, right? Like, we're back within our macro range here. We're below the value area high, so the next likely place for price to go is probably going to be to fill this wick down to the POC at 50 cents. But yo, shout out to Moon Boo Boy. Said, I like XR. I'm an XRP fan, but I would like to see Bitcoin TA sometimes. Shout out to Moon Boo Boy, bro. But yeah, we may be able to fill this wick back down to the POC, and based off the volume profile logic, let's remember, once you're below that value area high, you are going to be looking to come down to the POC and potentially the value area low. Not necessarily expecting 43-cent XRP anytime soon. But man, is this thing boring, guys. I mean, this thing just will not do anything. But, simply put, guys, we have been in between these two value areas. Value area low, value area high. As we moved around here, we were talking about how we would not expect higher prices till we flipped the value area low, and we would not look for lower prices until we broke below the value area high. And simply put, we wound up breaking below that value area high. So next target or next place that price may be on its way to is going to be this blue box between about 50 and 49.5 cents. And then again, 4-hour bull div is printing. So, can you get a bounce here? Potentially. But, again, just based off the way the rest of the market looks, taking a look at the daily on XRP, money flow in the red, fresh red dot is confirmed here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a little more downside. But at this point, this is the beauty of using the volume profiles. And it is, shout out to Liker, said, come on, just make a move. Yeah, I know, for real. This thing is just like asleep at the wheel. But, simply put, this is the beauty of looking at volume profiles. We have our area of balance up here in this range, right? Area of balance down here in this range. And, you could even look at this local range. If you're into more local levels, you can kind of just pull this local area right here where we're kind of getting accepted. Yeah, like even this local range here We're getting below this value area low, which in which case, the next likely place is going to be that POC, that same POC anyway. So, as long as we remain below this value area high, sitting at about 54 cents, I would be expecting to hit that POC. And then if we break down, you can look at the lower levels on the volume profile. But as of right now, your next key level of support is going to be in this blue box between about 50 and 49 cents. Let's see. How's BTC doing? We can go ahead and double check on it again. Just still sitting here, 39.5. Yeah, just still sitting at 39.5. Just chilling. Approaching, remember, $39,000 are those single prints, right? And then your TPOC sitting at 38.8, going to be the next key levels, right, to potentially get a reaction off of. But other than that, that 1 hour bull div, is that finally invalidated yet? Oh, no, it's back. It's back, guys. It's alive. You can't kill this thing. You can't kill this thing. It is almost invalidated, but you just cannot kill it. This thing is like, I'm going to get something. I'm going to get at least a little doji candle out of this thing. If I can't move it up, I'm going to get a little doji candle out of it. But yeah, you do have that divergence printing. But again, I would not have the highest hopes for that, based off of the many things we went over in the beginning of the stream when looking at Bitcoin. Let's see. Shout out Liker says, USDT chart looks more interesting than XRP at this point. Absolutely. Hey, shout out to 12 Big. Thank you for that super chat, bro. Thing pisses me off. Anyway, shout out to 12 Big. Thank you for that super chat, bro. I appreciate you. He says, yo, Frankie, how is SEI doing? How's the money flow? Let's go ahead and check on SEI real quick. Check out that Coinbase. Let's check it out. All right, so we have a fresh red dot on the 1 hour, which is interesting. Let's check that daily. Yeah, money flow looks almost exactly the same on everything else, right? Daily money flow at least. And on top of this, not only do we have the money flow coming out, guys, we also have the higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves. We have these daily bear divs with money flow coming out, which, as you guys know, doesn't oftentimes call for an immediate move to the downside. But when you get these daily bearish divergences at key levels, right? I'm not going to find the key level right this second, but if you get these daily bear divs with the money flow coming out, oftentimes this marks a significant top, right? And you have to remember, right? Like, even understanding what's going on with Bitcoin could mark temporary tops here. With the ETF being approved, with the macro golden pocket retracement, amongst many other things, it's likely going to mark local tops for a lot of this other stuff as well. So again, bearish divergence with money flow coming out oftentimes marks the top, right? Or at least in the context of the time frame, right? Like, let's see. Try to find another kind of, if we come back to Bitcoin real quick, just to kind of show you guys, right? Let's see. So, like, when you have a bullish divergence with money flow coming up, or I'm sorry, a bearish divergence with money flow coming up, like, you could look for the scalps, right? Like right here. Oh, this is the 4 hour, but same technique, right? Right here, you have a higher high on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves, right? And technically, you had money flow coming out just a little bit here, right? Significant move to the downside. But if we come up to the daily, I kind of want to talk to you guys about this, right? Because this is important. Let me see. If I can find a bearish divergence with money flow coming up, it's going to be kind of hard. But like right here, right? You have a higher high on your price action, lower high in your momentum wave, money flow coming out, big dump, right? Didn't mean that we were going down forever. But typically, they do mark significant highs, right? Let's see. We have another one here. Not quite. Not really. Not quite. Right here, you have another daily bearish divergence. Money flow kind of coming out, but then it crossed back into the red. Boom. Bigger move to the downside. But when you have bullish or bearish divergences without the money flow confirmations, you want to keep that in mind, right? Because, again, very, very simply put, just come up here to kind of draw it out for you guys, right? So in an uptrend, right? Boom, 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 right? So you get higher highs on your price, and then let's say your momentum waves gave you the bearish divergence, right? So that's what you want to see for the bear div. But if your money flow is not coming out at the same time, this is where so if you're not seeing that, right, and you just money flow is flat or coming up, this is where you would potentially expect a higher low to come in before continuing the uptrend, right? And then if you have money flow coming out, this is where you would expect a macro downtrend to begin, right? So you had an uptrend, topped out with a bearish divergence with money flow coming out. That indicates a bigger move down. But when you get the bear divs on the daily in a massive uptrend, that's when you want to be careful. You could still scalp short those moves, but you want to be careful because they're likely not going to give you the biggest move to the downside. And, you know, we could probably find some... we could probably find an example, but I'm not going to spend all the time. Yeah, like right here, right? Daily bearish divergence. Higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum weights. But what is money flow doing? Remember, could you have scalped this? Absolutely. I think we did in the premium Discord, right? I think we had a setup from this top. I don't quote me on that. But yeah, could have easily scalped this for a very nice move, right? 7%, 8%, plenty of a move to make money, right? But your money flow was simply trending to the upside. So at that point, you were expecting that dip to give you a higher low before continuing your trend to the upside. Whereas when money flow, when you get the bearish divergence, same thing, higher highs on price, lower highs on your momentum waves. I'm not even going to mark it out, right? Lower highs, money flow coming out, that indicates that the trend may be reversing. So I just want to be very clear about that. But anyway, let's come on back to SEI. I have not forgotten. However, TradingView might have. Okay, so there we are. So again, looking very similar. Bearish divergence, money flow coming out. A little bit worrisome in my opinion. But your 4-hour green dot is confirmed. No bullish divergence, like at all. 1 hour, I mean, look at this, man. Just game of red dot, green dot here. I mean, you know, fresh red dot. If you get another green dot, this is wonked out. I would be very careful. Like, this is not like the most clear confirmation to just get into a long position, right? You're deviating below your volume profile, but for the most part, there really is no, like you took this low. I mean, you got an SFP here, but money flow is coming out. I would be careful. Any moves to the upside, at least as of right now, I would be looking at as lackluster moves to the upside before continuing a trend down. And it has everything to do with money flow. Even finding your key levels here is a little bit tricky. Like this, if we get a move up here, which again, is kind of a gamble, this is kind of your next key level of resistance that I would be looking at on SEI, right? So money flow, to answer your question, money flow looking very similar to Bitcoin, right? So just, being very, very cautious there. But if we do retrace, that's your next key level of resistance, in my opinion, sitting right here between 67 and 64, almost 65 cents. All right, let's see. Let's see, bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Dave Digital, said, Frankie Candles, why didn't you do Bitcoin yet? Shout out to Dave Digital. I don't think I'll ever understand where that joke came from. I have no idea. But all right, let's see. Yo, you guys are wild in the chat right now. I don't care what you guys do to the like button. Do whatever you want to the like button. I don't judge here. All right. We took a look at Matic. I think I'm bullish on Matic. I think Matic will do well in the next bull run. But again, it all depends on what you're looking to do, right? Are you looking to get that 100x, that 50x, that 1000x, right? Like, likely not going to be Matic just because of the market cap being so high. Going to be a little bit harder to push that needle. Shout out to Flat Smack. Shout out to you, bro. He said, I just smoked that like button. Dusted it. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you. Near protocol, we could take a look at Near. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, so we lost our range. Lost the value area low. Did not get our move to the value area high. I don't know what we were looking for here, but probably we were looking for a potential hold of support on the value area low. And if we got that, we'd be looking up towards the value area high POC, which would be your next significant target. We did not get that, so let's go ahead and see what happened. And again, like money flow coming out, I'm not going to beat the dead horse here. Market Cypher looks very similar on all of this stuff, right? Like 4-hour green dot printing or confirmed on a lot of the altcoins. No divergence here. So, yeah, I would be very, very cautious with the longs here, in my own opinion, right? Not that you can't long, but if you did, is this an old near chart? Bear with me. Oh, whoops. Maybe not. Yeah, I think that was our near chart. Okay, yeah. All right, let's go back. Yeah, I mean, we lost the range. Let's zoom out here and see where our next key level is. What is this? This is just... Yeah. So, I mean, locally, this is what I would look at, right? Next key level, or next key levels on Matic are going to come from this value area right here. Boom. Turn it neutral. Right? So your value area high sitting here at 238. POC sitting right here at about 227. And then your value area low sitting right here at about 218. So these are going to be your, right here. Bada boom. So if you continue down, which I don't think is impossible, I would be careful. That 4-hour green dot may be able to give you a bounce. But remember, with the way money flow looks right now, even the 16 and 12-hour crossing into the red indicates the macro trend is likely to continue to the downside, right? So, but yeah, if we get that continued move to the downside, which again is not impossible based off money flow, and if we get a bounce, I would expect it to be a lackluster pump to come into some of the significant golden pocket 786 retracements, which, you know, not only do you have this golden pocket value area low confluence, if you pull some of the other local fibs, you know, you do have pretty close confluence with that value area low. So I would be looking at this as a resistance level, shorts, bada boom. So if you do wind up, I mean, you might even be able to reject some of these more local levels. So, you know, you could pull these fibs until you're blue in the face. Trying to find the more significant ones is probably the more important thing to do. But if we do get a significant pump here, I would be looking for a lackluster move to continue a downtrend based off money flow. Very, very similar to the rest of the altcoins. So, guys, I think that is, so I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. I love Rob's birthday almost as much as I love mine. Shout out to Tony D, gifting that one Frankie Candles membership. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for doing that. I know the Mafia loves you back. But TRB, we could actually, let's take a look at TRB real quick. But I do just want to make a quick announcement while we take a look at TRB, guys. As you guys know, we've been talking about this for a little while. We are looking to change up the content just a little bit here on the channel. For a couple of different reasons, right? And they're going to be good changes. They're going to be great changes. It ends up with more alpha for you guys or more sauce for you guys. But basically what we're going to be doing is we are going to probably cut these live streams down to 45 minutes to an hour. And we're just going to give straight sauce for that time, right? And then we're still going to do a ton of community engagement. Obviously, I read chat throughout the stream. But what we're going to do is we're going to have an after party after every single stream in the Discord where we will take deep dives either into altcoins or we'll just do a Q&A. And I'll just kind of go in and hang out in chat with the Discord for like 15-minute little after parties after every single stream. A lot of this really, we want to try to, the YouTube algorithm, basically the way we have our content set up right now is horrible for the YouTube algorithm. So we're trying to shorten things a little bit, just give pure sauce and then keep that community engagement, but in the Discord, which will be a bit more intimate, which is kind of cool. I can share my screen. We can look at charts if we want, or just kind of, go back and forth and hang out with chat. So super excited. And basically what this does is open up time for me to be able to record more, write more scripts, maybe have a second live stream, which may be the second part of the, content change. We're going to change it very slowly. But it's basically going to wind up with you guys getting like way more sauce every single day at way more times of the day. You're not just going to have to wait until nighttime to hear what I have to think. If you're not in the Discord or anything, you will get earlier updates from me during the day. But it's going to be awesome, and we're super, super excited about it. So, yeah, it's basically going to get double as saucy, and the engagement is probably going to be even better just because we get to do it in the Discord. There's no, we don't have to worry about the algorithm or saying bad words or whatever. It's going to be super, super cool, so we're super pumped for that. Bing, bing, love. Shout out to Trade Made. Let's go. No, 12 Big said, assuming premium Discord. No, we're going to do it in the free Discord. It's basically going to be like the same engagement we do here, but we're just going to bring it over to the Discord. But no, it'll be in the free Discord. No way. No, I wouldn't lock that behind the. I'm not gonna take away from the YouTube and lock it up behind the premium. No, we'll do it in the free Discord or maybe the dining room. But I don't have a problem doing it in the free Discord. I think that'd be cool. But let's see. Shout out to Cool Cat Crypto said, BTC not going up. Shout out to you, bro. Adult party in the Discord. Let's go. I mean, hey, hey, I mean, we're still going to keep it family friendly, but I'm just saying we don't have to worry about the algorithm or it's going to be way better for the algorithm so we can grow the Candle Mafia into an unstoppable force, even more unstoppable than it already is. But let's move on to TRB here, guys, and take a look here. Take a look at the daily. Looking very similar to everything else. Money flow trending to the downside. Let's go ahead and, Let's go ahead and pull a little bit of a fib here. A little bada boom, a little bada bing. Okay, yeah, that wonked out. Wick, let me see. Is this a, let's look at let's take a look at the spot. Okay, that's just a legit wick. All right, so let's come down to the 4-hour. Wonked out price action here, to be honest with you. Let's pull up the VPVR. VR, VP, bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's see. Yeah, so, It's like the doctor when he's like inspecting you and they're just like, And you're like, what do you mean? What, am I dying? What's going on? But anyway, yeah, so interesting. Okay, so this is definitely a key level right here. I would watch right here, $109, almost $110, right on this shelf of volume right here. This is going to be key. If you lose this level, actually, can we get TRB on the heat map? Let's check this real quick. So these lows right here at about $110. Let's see. Sometimes these altcoins do look a little wonked out on the heat map. Yeah, 108. Okay. So $108. We do have significant liquidations. Yeah. So, yeah, basically just below these lows, right? If you crack these lows, could see some liquidations occur, in which case your next key level of support may wind up being about $101 to $100, right? You have the psychological level of 100, and then 101. 101 is basically that shelf of volume right there, right? So if you do get liquidations, this is going to be a key level to look at. If you lose this level, much more likely, in my opinion, to get down to about $95, right? So these are just some local levels that I would be looking at. Go ahead and line that up. Yeah, about $95 even. So if you come down here, you do have liquidity sitting down here, right? So you have liquidations. You have long liquidations. Whoops. Long liquidations sitting in here. So if you start peeking below here, could get moving pretty quickly if you start stopping these people out, right? And then if you wick down, this would kind of be the level of support I would look at for a potential bounce. If you lose this, next level at $95. Honestly, the saucier level is probably $94. So that is basically what I would look at. Let me see if we have any confluence at any of these levels. Okay, so no weeklies, no monthlies. Okay. So we do have a naked daily point of control here. I will mark that out. So right here, 107, right? Very close to that 108 number. Those are the key levels, simply put. Bada boom, right? So to the downside, those are the key levels to look at. Let's come back down to the 4-hour. So there you go. You lose these lows, you lose these lows, looking for either support or liquidations to occur, and then claim support on that MPOC, get a move back down. $101 to $100 is your next level. Break below that, looking at $93. So those are the next key levels to the downside. If you get a shot to the upside, bada boom, next significant level of resistance sitting at, I don't even know if I'd look that high. Next significant level of resistance sitting at about $127 right here. So there you go. Those are the key levels on TRB. Other than that, as far as the indicators go, this looks very similar to Bitcoin. I would be very careful. 4-hour green dot looking to print. But again, no divergence, money flow coming out. So it's not like we're looking for a moonshot, probably just looking for a lackluster move up before we roll back to the downside. So that is what I'd be looking at on TRB. And I just realized, good Lord, I thought I wasn't showing my screen that entire time. But with all that being said, guys, I think that's all the time we got for today's live stream. Like I said, not 100% sure exactly when we're going to change the when we're going to be changing the actual content. We may start tomorrow. We may start in a couple days. We want to make sure when we do change it, we kind of have a SOP and we stick to it so it's all consistent. But yeah, that is all we got for tonight's live stream, guys. And again, get hyped for these Discord hangouts. It's gonna be super super cool, and I'm super excited. And hopefully the YouTube algorithm will like us even more for it. But with all that being said, guys, also second part of that announcement is the wheel spins. What we're gonna do, mods. This is actually for you guys as well. What we're going to do, we got 400 likes right now. Smash that like button. Whatever amount of likes that we get, we're actually going to spin those wheel. We're going to spin the wheel in Discord, right? And then on the live stream when we do the giveaways, maybe we move the giveaways to Discord as well. But, you know, all the giveaways will all remain the same way to enter. We're going to call them the same way. But we're just going to save all the wheel spins for one time, or, you know, I'll spin them. We'll get all the giveaways, and then we'll get them all done in Discord because, you know, obviously at the end of these, the reason for this, guys, is at the end of the live streams, you know, we go from our peak viewers. If you guys are interested in how YouTube works, if anybody is wondering or curious, you know, when we have these, you know, we're spinning the wheel, or, you know, I can ramble for quite a long time, or we do the Frankie fake outs. This is a gigantic red flag for the YouTube algorithm to not push our videos, right? Because a lot of the people who just come in for the information are kind of just here, and as soon as we start talking about anything else, there's a hard fall off in our viewership, which basically tells the YouTube algorithm, like, hey, don't look at them, don't push this video. Everybody left abruptly. So we're just trying to adjust these things to kind of keep it more steady as far as viewer retention. For anybody who's interested in how YouTube works, that's basically the thought process behind it. But I was like, yo, I'm not ending these live streams without hanging out with the Mafia. And then Tony D, or I think it was Tony D, just came out and was like, just do it in the Discord. It'd be better anyway. It'd be better interaction. And we could just go live just like this in the Discord. So super, super cool. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time. Tyler Durden said, you? Ramble? Nah. Shout out to Tyler Durden. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. Smash that like button if you guys like the content and you find it useful. And if you're part of the Candle Mafia, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And with all that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Frank Candles YouTube channel. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve. Shit on my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no giving. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep. When I'm focused, I'm dangerous. They don't want it when I'm anxious. Ain't no limit till I tank. I'm running on fumes. The opposition don't amaze. The roads racing through the pavement. Get your hands out of my bag. I know that's because I've been in it. I don't need to brag. I guess that's what happens when you taking care of your business. But some family, you do the math. I'm out of my pocket. Houston, we got a problem. I ain't perfect. Let them watch me elevating. Got them nauseous. Cause I'm the pilot in the cockpit. Nose diving in the house. And whoo. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Watch how I get ahead. Woo. Watch how I set it up, bet you I shut it down, watch how I get a win. I don't think they really wanna come against the winner, got a finger run up in on a grenade. I ain't never been there when you think you compare. I'm aligned with the winner about the cage. I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call and quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out.
No, dude, I'm pumped too. It's gonna be so much easier to put out more content. But I just don't. 7 live streams a day is a bit much. I just feel like it's OD. It's like they're gonna watch me and then it's gonna end and then we're just gonna start the next stream. Well, I could eat on stream. I mean, I don't need to eat. I don't care about that or sleep. But like, I mean, I could always do that on stream if we have to. But I just feel like I think it's just too much content. Like there's gonna be nothing to update anybody on. We could go 24/7. We can go 24/7. That'd be easier, honestly. We don't have to make mad thumbnails. There's just like one thumbnail for each day. Yeah. Well, All right, we'll talk about it. We'll have a meeting tomorrow. All right. See you later, dude. All right. Oh, hey guys. Hi. Oh, hey. Hi. That was all that was like speculative. We're not saying that we're definitely doing that. One thumbnail, one toenail, one thumbnail, two toenails. Shout out to Crypto Billy. So here we are. This is exactly what YouTube hates. We just have a complete plummet. But hey, guys, these are the Frankie Fakeouts, and be ready for this new content, guys. We're super, super excited. But yeah, that's all the time we got for tonight, guys. Stick around for maybe a 24/7 live stream for the rest of my life. I don't know how long I'll live doing that, but we might just do it for the Mafia. But I'm just kidding, guys. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time, 5:45. Pray for Bitcoin. But even if it dumps, guys, you have the key levels now. That's all I got. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command, like, yeah, you about to see me on demand, like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the roll, here we go, yeah, at the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
Get them in the pen. I don't know how sorry about that, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Hasta pasta. Bing bong.